I'm about to show you something the specialty food industry really doesn't want you to see. By the end of this video, you're going to walk through the herb aisle at your grocery store and see it completely differently. Rosemary olive oil sells for $18. Basil finishing salt runs $14. Raw thyme infused honey is $22. Mint syrup goes for $11. That's $65 for 4 products, and I haven't even touched the herb vinegars, the freezer cubes, or the foot soak. Today I'm making 9 boutique quality products from one single planter. Products that are, at their core, just herbs plus soil, salt, honey, vinegar, or water. And the plants regrow. Before I get into the products, let's talk about the system. Because this is where most people overcomplicate growing food. There's no raised bed here, no permanent installation, no power tools, no backyard required. This setup took me less than 30 minutes. That's the beauty of modular planters. They move with your life. Whether that's an apartment, a balcony, a rental, or a townhouse, you can expand them, rotate crops seasonally, and keep building your soil year after year instead of starting over. If you're overwhelmed about where to begin growing your own food, herbs are the smartest entry point. They're high value for the space they take up, they regrow, they preserve well, and the multiplier effect we're about to walk through is one of the most underrated wins in small space gardening. Let's do a quick rundown of what's growing here. Mint is aggressive, planted in the ground, and it'll take over your whole yard. So I keep it contained and in a lower to mid tier since it likes more moisture. Rosemary sits up top because it wants excellent drainage and dries out faster up there, which it loves. Thyme is criminally underrated, hardy, drought tolerant once established, and packed with aromatic oils that made it a kitchen staple long before seasoning packets existed. Mine prefers a little shade, so she lives a few tiers up from the bottom. Basil gets replanted every year, so she takes whatever spot is open. She hates too much sun, wants steady warmth above 75 degrees, and the more you harvest her correctly, snipping below the growth nodes instead of plucking, leaves the bushier and more productive she gets. Harvest regularly, because once basil flowers, the flavor turns bitter. First up, mint syrup. It sounds fancy, but it's just mint, a sweetener, and water until it hits a glass bottle with a cute label and suddenly costs $11. I add about a cup of water and 3.4 to 1 cup of sugar, depending on how sweet and shelf-stable I want it. Cane sugar works best since it helps preserve the syrup, though honey gives a nice floral note if you want to switch it up. Bring it to a gentle simmer, never a rolling boil, or you'll cook the freshness right out of the mint. Store it in the fridge since there are no preservatives. It holds for 2-3 weeks, longer with very clean jars and a higher sugar ratio. Freeze extra batches in ice cube trays for later. This one jar becomes lemonade, iced tea, flavored sparkling water, mocktails, popsicles, or a drizzle over berries and desserts. The average family spends $15, $40 a month on specialty ingredients they could grow at home. For pennies, that's roughly $300 a year going straight into brand pockets for herbs in a jar. Next, mint-infused vinegar, another forgotten kitchen skill turned expensive specialty item. Pack fresh herbs into a clean jar, cover with white wine vinegar or apple cider vinegar, seal with a non-corrosive lid, and let it sit 1-2 weeks before straining. The longer it sits, the more concentrated the flavor. This becomes salad dressing, a jolt for marinades and bean salads, a quick pickle upgrade, or my favorite, a splash in sparkling water for a shrub-style drink on the porch. Because vinegar is naturally acidic, it's shelf-stable once your herbs are dry. Just keep it somewhere cool and dark. Store versions run $10, $15. Mine costs whatever a bottle of plain vinegar costs. Quick note, your garden can't replace everything. Things like good olive oil or baking staples still need to come from the store, which is why I lean on Thrive Market when my local shelves are hit with inventory issues. It's $5 a month, they restrict over 1,000 ingredients compared to Whole Foods roughly 300. And between member pricing, price matching, and free delivery, it pays for itself on the first order. Their end of summer sale gets you 25% off top products, but it ends tonight, August 22nd, links in the description. Or go to thrivemarket.com/farmgirl for $20 off your first 3 orders and a free gift. Back to the garden. Last mint project, a cooling foot soak with Epsom salt. Pour Epsom salt into a container. Add a tablespoon of a carrier oil like olive, jojoba, or castor. Roughly chop your mint and stir it all together. The menthol in mint makes this the perfect end of summer soak for tired feet. Store-bought infused salts charge a premium for the exact same thing, plain salt, and a handful of mint already gives you for free. If we're just meeting, I'm Cassandra from youcomeinmykitchen.com, and I'm here to help you build smarter kitchen systems, grow more of your own food, and create a life that feels more capable and resilient. Hit subscribe because we've got 6 more projects to go. On to basil, which people wrongly assume only exists for pesto. Basil's aromatic oils give it that sweet, peppery flavor that works beautifully in salts, vinegars, salsas, and infused oils. First project, basil finishing salt. Blend about 1/3 of a cup of salt with a handful of basil leaves. Tender stems can go into. Pulse until combined. It'll be a little damp. That's fine if you're using it within a few days and keeping it refrigerated. For longer storage, spread it on a baking sheet and let it air dry overnight. Specialty stores charge $10, $15 for this. You're mostly paying for packaging and the illusion of luxury. Next, basil freezer cubes. Future you insurance against a surprise cold snap wiping out your harvest. Blend basil with olive oil and pour into ice cube trays, topping off the trays as you harvest more throughout the season. This isn't pesto, no cheese, no garlic, yet just a fast flavor base you dress up later when you actually need it. I keep making these through fall until I'm rationing by late November, saving that bright basil flavor for winter pasta nights. Rosemary is next, and it's far from the delicate herb people assume it is. Once established, it just keeps producing, and the flavor gets stronger the more mature the plant becomes, meaning you'll actually use less of it per dish. First up, rosemary infused olive oil. Make sure your herbs are fully dry, since moisture is the enemy of infused oils. Gently heat olive oil over medium-low, add the herbs, and let them infuse without frying or boiling. This becomes bread dipping oil, roasted potato oil, salad dressing, a marinade base, compound butter, or a finishing oil for soup. You control the intensity and know exactly what's in it, no mystery ingredients. Store versions run $12, $20 for a task that takes 3 minutes at home. Then rosemary finishing salt. Chop de-stemmed rosemary and mix it into flaky salt. It elevates roasted potatoes, steak, chicken, focaccia, vegetables, eggs, soup, and yes, even popcorn. Once you start making your own salt blends, the store versions stop being tempting altogether. Thyme is the quiet overachiever of the planter, barely any space required, but packed with thymol, the aromatic compound that's shown up historically in broths, steam preparations, and household cleaners. For thyme-infused honey, pack thyme into a jar and cover it with raw honey so you preserve its natural enzymes. Any variety works, though stronger honeys like buckwheat will compete more with the herb flavor. After a few days, it's ready to drizzle into hotter iced tea, over biscuits, into vinaigrettes, or over a charcuterie board with goat cheese. Genuinely one of the best flavor combinations you can make at home. Store-bought versions run $12, $20. Mine costs a jar of raw honey from Aldi. Last project, herb bouillon cubes. Using whatever mix I've got on hand: parsley, marjoram, sage, spring onion, leftover thyme. Chop everything, drizzle with olive oil, and freeze in cubes. Drop one into a pan when sauteing meat or vegetables, into soups, stocks, cream sauces, or a pot of rice as it cooks. It's an easy way to front-load flavor into anything you're making that week. And it's probably $15 worth of grocery store herb clamshells packed into a single ice tray. So here's the full tally. Across all 9 products, we're looking at $75 to $121 worth of boutique goods from one harvest. This is exactly why herbs are the highest value crop you can grow. In a small space, they're not just ingredients, they're multipliers. My greenstock planters were never a hobby purchase. I think of them as infrastructure. Yes, there was a one-time cost for the planter, soil, and plants, but after that, they keep paying you back in flavor, preservation, and grocery displacement year after year. No raised beds, no tiller, no power tools, no land required. These systems are modular and move with you, whether you're in an apartment, a townhouse, or a rental. Somewhere along the way, we started believing food systems had to be massive to matter, that you need acreage or a barn. But some of the most productive things I grow take up less space than a patio chair. Once established, herbs are self-sustaining. You harvest repeatedly, propagate for more, then dry, freeze, or dehydrate to extend their value even further. Herbs used to be normal household infrastructure: flavor, preservation, comfort, fragrance, and wellness support, all wrapped into one small plant, before we outsourced all of it into separate products, with separate price tags. If this is your sign to start an herb garden, keep it simple. Start small with herbs you'll actually use. Learn 1 or 2 preservation methods, then build out from there. Your garden stops being decoration and becomes a system that quietly supports your kitchen every day. If you want the greenstock planters I use, everything's linked below. My code is BFarmGirl for $10 off, and you may qualify for free shipping. And if you're wondering about the pantry side of things, that Thrive Market deal at thrivemarket.com/farmgirl ends tonight. $20 off your first 3 orders plus a free gift. Make sure you're subscribed, because next I'm showing you what one single tomato plant can replace at the grocery store, and it might surprise you. For more small space, big taste, no waste gardening, I'll see you in the kitchen or garden soon. Take care, friends.